stage, take a
Alright
shot.
guys, going here back more. NieR Replicant.
At the people that they're taking a shot at, like, you know, typical stuff.
Still listening to RGP. I'm pretty sure it's going to be boss battle here. It's typically how these sections work.
For the day. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will do my best to answer them as we start to wrap up the day. You'll notice, again, I didn't really include much Frenchie. He gave another talk to the cameras. He's been going around talking to Big D, doing other things, but he is so beyond irrelevant in the game at this point that, you know, I'm not going to waste too much time on Frenchie here. Yes, let me know if you have any questions. Do I think that Brent is still the main target? Yes, he is definitely still the main target, but there are a lot of people that don't want to have to be the ones to take the shot. People are so comfortable that they feel like they want to play a little bit riskier and just, you know, throw the dice a little bit, let somebody else win. Let's see, who's Kellis's winner pick? I don't know. Kellis would probably be a big fan of Xavier, I think. I think that would be a big fan of Xavier. I think he'd also like, yeah, we'll say Xavier for now. I'll have to ask him. That's just my guess. Is there any value for anyone to keep Brent in the game as a target to get out someone more concerning? No, I don't think so, because I don't think Brent will remain a target. Again, I mentioned this last night, but the only reason Brent is a target, or at least the main reason Brent is a target, is because of the work that Tiffany's been doing to put the target on his back. There aren't a lot of people that actively feel like they need to target Brent. They're only targeting him because he's the easy house out right now. If he survives and Tiffany has to focus elsewhere and not put so much pressure on it, then I could see him slipping back into the game and not being a big target anymore. How could Tiffany navigate being outed as the rogue vote, especially with Kylan? I think that it's a tough situation, especially because she actively accused other people of being the rogue votes to Kylan in a one-on-one conversation where she was supposed to be advising him. So that's going to be really tough to walk back. To say, yeah, it was me, sorry I didn't tell you. It's not just that she didn't tell him, it's that she actively lied to him in an attempt to manipulate him about, you know, where those votes actually were. And so, I don't know that she can really navigate that with Kylan. If he continues to make an issue of it, especially if he suspects her, she honestly may have to just either walk away from that relationship and kind of like look elsewhere. She's got plenty of options. She doesn't need time in the game, or take the other gamble of just fully coming clean with him, saying I'm so sorry. I wasn't trying to manipulate you in that conversation. If that's in the case of doing that, I was just worried. Frenchie asked me to do this, and I didn't know what to do, and so I did it. And then I was like worried that people would, you know, what people would think of me, and so I was like, I'm so sorry. Please, you know, forgive me. I really don't want this to affect our relationship. Something like that. It could work. I think Kylan he's not the kind of person I think that would like actively be like, no, you're dead to me. But I do think it would probably break his trust with her, no matter what she said. He wouldn't really tell her to his face, or to her face, I don't think, but it's something that would keep in the back of his mind. But that might be all she needs, as long as he's not actively coming for her in the short term. The long term play probably doesn't involve Kylan anyway, so it might not be too much of an issue. What's the worst case scenario for next week? Is when Brent wins HOH, Claire and Sarah Beth on the block. Well, as of right now, Brent plans on putting Brittany and Azza on the block, and there's going to be a lot of house pressure to prevent Claire and whoever else Tiffany doesn't want on the block to go on the block. So Brittany would probably be in the most trouble. Worst case scenario, theoretically, yes, would be Claire ends up on the block because she is an option for Brent. But again, with all of the influence that Tiffany has in the game, there's a chance that she can prevent that from happening via her connections and current house structure.
Yeah, thank you, Emil, for helping so much.
Is Derek X more loyal to Tiffany or Kylan? I don't think even Derek X knows the answer to that right now. I think that if pressed, I think right now he would be more loyal to Tiffany. But I think that, you know, Kylan was somebody that he was drawn to initially before anything happened. I think he really likes Kylan and wants to work with Kylan. So I think in the long run he might be a little bit more loyal to Kylan, depending on what Tiffany, how Tiffany handles the relationship, how Kylan handles the relationship. But right now I don't think he even really thinks about, you know, any, like, why would he have to choose? Is Tiffany playing too hard too early?
Right?
I think absolutely not. I think that she's doing a lot of great work. I think that you should be playing hard most of the time. There's a difference between playing hard and playing messy.
No.
Frenchie played messy. Tiffany has played hard, and you know, we'll see where that goes. Okay. HOH competitions will not be endurance the next 2 weeks, correct? Because we have wildcard competitions to show production. We won't have time to show 2 comps on Sunday nights. That's a very good point. It's very unlikely, yes, that they would do endurance while the wildcard competitions are happening. They keep expecting endurance, but they shouldn't have thought about that point, which is well made, RW. All right, a couple more questions. Will we have a double eviction before / at the start of jury? It's definitely possible to have one around the start of jury, or we could have one a little bit later. I think based on the schedule, we are due for at least 1 double eviction, so I would expect it, yes, around the time the jury starts, or if we only have 1, then we might get it more toward the final 9, final 8 scenario, sort of where we had the triple last season, or we could have 2. 1 at the start of jury, 1, you know, around final 8, final 7, or we could have another triple eviction, but I really hope not. I don't remember if there's room for 2 or just 1. Is anyone talking about getting Tiffany out? No. Not even close. Should Christian go out before Alyssa, or is Alyssa more dangerous? I do think that if Alyssa left, and Tiffany was not to blame for it, I think that Tiffany could really just take Christian. It reminds me a little bit of the Brigade and Brendan. So, you know, Rachel and Brendan in season 12 were this massive wild card, big distraction in the game of season 12. And after they took out Rachel, the Brigade was able to like pull in Brendan and use him essentially as a number, as somebody that could win competitions for them and take people out for them, and maintain and continue to be a bit of a threat and distraction in the game. I could see something somewhat similar happening with Tiffany pulling Christian in with no Alyssa. He doesn't have enough connections outside of that, and he really just listens to Tiffany, and she could really use him a lot more effectively if Alyssa's not there to influence him over her. So, maybe. Will the cookout go far? Yes, I think so. In fact, I think I said it, I might have not said it, you know, as early as last week, I was thinking, I think there's a good chance that somebody from the cookout wins the game. I would say people in the cookout are like at least 70% to win the game. Maybe like 75% to win the game. There's 6 of them in a house of, you know, there was 16. I think they're probably even closer to like 70. It's anywhere from 70 to 80% chance to win the game. Anyone in the cookout, I think. Even if they don't stick completely together, I think that they have a very good chance to win the game. They talked about this. If they get many of the members of the cookout to jury, which it looks like they can, then there will be potentially 4 to 5 people in a 9-person jury who are very inclined to vote for a member of the cookout in the final 2. If that happens, those are great odds to begin with. In addition to that, many of them are playing very well, and there's just a lot that they have going for them. Again, Big D is probably the biggest issue with all of that, and Big D may not be somebody that votes for somebody from the cookout, but you know, I still think that they're in a very good position to win the game. One of them at least. So there we go. That's what we have. Okay, final question. Does Sarah Beth still trust Kylan the most, or has she gotten closer
What am I
to
supposed to be doing here?
more? She still trusts Kylan
The health bar's already gone,
cameras yesterday. Specifically, she trusts Kylan the most. She's going to give Kylan all of her information, all of that stuff. She's going to consult with Kylan about everything. Kylan is her number 1 for sure. All right. that's what I have for you guys for today. Thank you so much for joining me here. I will be back later today on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong, to watch tonight's episode with you guys. If you want to watch along with me, we can have some fun there. Especially if you like these solo updates. It's a very similar vibe, I think, when we watch the episode, especially during the commercials. We talk through what we saw and all of that stuff. And then after the episode, Rob is a podcast. Tune in. We will have a recap of the episode for you guys. It should be a lot of fun. And then, of course, tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, live feed update. Stock watch stream tomorrow on Twitch. Watching the episode tomorrow on Twitch, and then episode recap after the episode airs. So lots of coverage for you tomorrow as well. So tune in for all of that. You can also, of course, find me on Twitter at ArmstrongTaran. And yeah, I will see all of you next time.
I couldn't hold it back. I can't be with...
We're always going to be together, Kaine. If you transform again, we'll just stop it again. I don't care how tough it is. We're gonna get you back. I like sleeping outside because I'm with you, Kaine. I'm able to ignore my appearance and keep going because of you. I'm weak, and I'm sad, and I'm lonely. But you make me strong. You're my friend, and I need you. So don't you
It's so funny. I'm looking at my Star UK Pulatica video came out, and it's performing pretty much as I would expect. I mean,
All right.
probably gonna end up being in like, I don't know, 500 view range. Not that much, but at the same time, though, it is really fucking funny. Out of my last 10 videos, like none of them have performed well. And it's funny that we're at the point now where my BB2 retrospective is number 4. Like, that's really sad. Mind you, a lot of that's because I had 2 extra videos over the course of this last 10 videos, which kind of messed things up, but still, that's hilarious. That's the point where I'm at.
I'm alright.
But whatever.
Over there.
God damn it. What is this? Mysterious stone fragment.
What is this?
It's me. It's got some kind of writing on it, but I don't know what it says.
How remarkably useless of you. Well, let's go ask Pogola.
Yeah, my number 4 video on my last 10 videos is a video that only has 1,400 views. That's so fucking sad. Mind you, I mean, obviously, like, videos have surpassed that. Like, I mean, my Australian Survivor videos passed it. But, again, like, this is out of the first hour. Actually, I believe most of the Australian Survivor... Actually, no, I guess just Australian Survivor.
Can you determine its meaning?
I think this is the key to unlocking the Shadow Lord's castle. Here, take a look at this.
So we need to...
I wrote down all the words I can understand.
Okay, we need to do those other 4.
This fragment is called the Stone Guardian. Given that you found it in the Lost Shrine, the words must mean something. There are spaces here for 4 other fragments as well. Sacrifice, the Law of Robotics, the Memory Tree, Loyal Cerberus. The Law of Robotics probably refers to the Junk Heap. And the Memory Tree might be the Forest of Myth.
Oh, fuck off. So it's essentially just us retreading.
But as for Sacrifice and Loyal Cerberus, I don't have a clue.
Not a problem.
Actually, I want to rename the last episode then. What was the Stone Guardian? That's what it's called, right?
If we want to fill in the words, we just run around the world killing every big monster we find, right?
Oh, splendid. By all means, let us undertake a murderous rampage.
They're just shades. Besides, it's the only way to reach the Shadow Lord.
It's a dangerous task.
Yeah, well, Yona's in even more danger.
But how can you even be sure that she's...
But yeah, might as well listen to the thing from
Because
yesterday.
she is, right?
If I can find it. Where is it? There it is, round table.
Upgrade to watch videos without ads breaking your focus. Try our student plan free for 1 month.
The junk heap in the forest of
New
myth, yeah?
Pronamel Mineral Boost works with your mouth.
Please be
Strengthen
careful.
enamel.
Oh, and listen,
He does not quit.
about
Never
Conway
in his
and
life.
Emil.
Never. Well, I'm wondering though, is he using
Villagers know how much they've sacrificed, and they're thankful. It's just...
the excuse that he doesn't want to?
I'll hurry them along the best I can. But can you please give them a little more time?
I'll try.
Really campaign against Brittany, and he wants to like go out like a man against another man, like all that stuff, so that he doesn't have to campaign, and then he can just be like, well, I really didn't want to campaign against her. I really didn't want to go out like that. Just so like if he tried and failed, then he won't look like he's a bad game player. But now he just looks like he's a hero to an extent.
Absolutely. Again, Frenchie is all about like trying to appear as good as possible, right, at all times, and please the people he thinks that he's interacting with the most. And so, I think that he is.
Perhaps we can find
He's
a clue
trying
that
to
two
not
brothers' weapon-
try and fail. He's trying to succeed at failing, right? Does that make sense?
Yes. Just like Frenchie always says. It's all complicated.
Let's see.
He's just like, yes, he is trying to cover
Do that
himself on
map.
both sides. Like if he goes,
Oh, there we
okay,
go,
I stuck
fragments.
my word, I went out.
The law of robotics, right? That's what we're heading for.
Like, he still, like, he wants to stay.
So is that the rest of the game?
He
Is
doesn't want
this,
the house
and
to
then
know that he
that
wants
was
to stay,
some
but he
end game
wants
section?
them to vote him to stay. I think even with how destructive last week was and how it has been up to this point, I think that if someone was in a good position, like if someone knew how to navigate the situation, and wasn't trying to play all sides, wasn't trying to play to America, play to Twitter, play to production, play to these future opportunities because he thinks he's going to be on the challenge, he thinks he's going to be on Amazing Race, then maybe he would actually be able to figure out where people are in the house and how he can actually stay. But no, he's trying to do the most, which he's been doing since the moment he walked into the house, and because of that, he'll be walking out the door.
Yeah, I guarantee you, if for any reason the vote changed in Frenchie's favor, whether it had anything to do with him, he would be on the feeds that night. According to plan, as I thought it would.
I sense another inane,
Idiots for
time-consuming
Easy, guys. Hey there. What's going on?
Production, you're making it too easy.
Yeah.
I forgot PlayStation sales started.
He's been talking about all these grandiose ideas, so I'm still
which is gonna last an entire month.
to try something. So I guess we have a couple of days
Changes in a couple weeks. So, let's scroll through so.
I can't believe he's lying down. I say give it till Wednesday night. Wednesday night feeds are probably going to be
deals.
grand because he's going to
That's kinda
say,
insane.
okay, I got to pull out all the stops because I think I might actually go home. Oh my gosh, what is happening? So he's going to try to
2 for
pull
30, that's
something
not
out of his
bad,
head.
but
It's not going to work, but
interested
will it
in
be
buying it.
entertaining? Absolutely.
Yeah, alright. Well, so that's basically what
Mortal
we've
Kombat
got. Again,
Ultimate for
since the
23.
veto ceremony,
It's hard
not
now,
much
looking
has
for,
been
but it's
happening.
not a bad deal.
I
In
wanna
the
make it right,
immediate
get back in the good
sense,
books, but I'm
just
a
more
little in
plans
over
for the
my
future.
head.
And
Dead
those
for
plans,
25.
again, mostly include here that pretty much
Fall
everyone in the house
Guys.
will be targeting Brent next week, including the Jokers. Brittany is maybe one person that could throw up somebody like Hannah because she's weird about that. But even Big D, who has been talking about wanting to go after the women, he might go after like Whitney. But with Whitney probably comes Brent. He has been talking about taking Brent out. Ozza's still after Brent. Everyone
So far,
in
I'm
the
saying it's
Kings
too
and
interesting.
Queens are after Brent. Derek X is after Brent and is willing to probably throw the HOH, so he wouldn't be going after it himself, but making sure that he didn't accidentally protect Brent by winning the HOH. So there's really not a single person in the house beyond Brent and the people on Brent's team
you guys
who
carry
would not
matching red bags, right?
at least heavily consider.
Alright, last episode uploaded.
Red.
Pretty good.
It's pretty quick. I uploaded in 20 minutes. It's pretty quick, considering it's over 20 minutes.
We got married after learning we had a shared love of all things crimson, so she'll definitely want something
Consider
red.
targeting Brent next week. He is in a lot of trouble moving forward. And again, the house structure here is mostly this new Kings Queens Derek X group with a now subset of Claire, Tiffany, Christian, Alyssa. It hasn't been officially formalized.
I really
but it
don't
has
see
been spoken
anything
about now
interest so far.
a bit. And then you have the cookout, which is still kind of spread out, and you have the remains of the slaughterhouse, which really only exists in Brent's mind, a little bit in Whitney's mind, and mostly just still exists to cover themselves in the case of a Brent win, or perhaps a Whitney one. And then, and that's pretty much it. You also still, of course, have Jackpot, which is within the King's Queens, right? You have the Kingslayers, which has been suspiciously absent this week of interaction as Brittany is on the block. So it really looks like the direction this house is heading in is this King's Queens group with Tiffany in really the central spot.
Yeah, I really like how she's kind of protecting herself from every angle. I mean, I know it's obvious to us because we're watching, so I'm just wondering if anybody has been noticing it, just hasn't been saying anything or talking about it, or we haven't seen their diaries about it, because, like, she really is quite well protected, well liked, and she's involved in a lot of
I still don't see anything that
You know, I see
good.
her playing chess with Claire. I know they're the same team, but, like, are people cluing into the fact that, like, she's doing so much work? So, I hope that she's
Auto
not,
Soulstorm
you know,
35.
found out, but I'm surprised that nobody else has really noticed.
Still high. All things considered.
Yeah, that's my biggest
Ancestors
fear with
is still
how well
16.
positioned she is.
Why won't that game ever drop in price? Like, I've been waiting for that game to go down to like 10 for the longest time. It never fucking
actually
drops.
is in good with everyone without them thinking like, oh, I wouldn't want that because Tiffany is too important to my game. So I'm just hoping that
That's wasted so much time.
kind of ride that wave where people
Spyro is 14.
shots at
That's
everybody else
good.
except for her.
I'm pretty sure it's been that price
sitting
before,
back
but I
and
just
actually
never bit the
realizing.
bullet
I
on
think
it.
she is nurturing that by continuing to strengthen
I
these
might get it.
relationships every minute of the day, and not backing off. So I just hope she doesn't get too comfortable.
Yes, and I think that the people closest to her.
Oh, so I did all this for nothing?
Claire knows how much she's doing because
Yeah, we came in right there anyway.
with her.
Shit.
Derek X
Whatever.
sees a lot of what she's doing.
That was a lot
but,
of waste of time.
Doesn't see it in a negative way. She's been helping him out. Really, I think Highland is the person who sees what she's doing the most and is the most worried about it. I think that even somebody like Christian understands that Tiffany is playing hard, but trusts her and thinks that it would be a good idea to work with her. Now, granted, that does mean that if for whatever reason Christian found a reason to not trust her, he could, divulge a lot of information. Kylan can end up divulging a lot of information. Really, anybody in the cookout theoretically could if they found a reason to not trust her. But I think she's probably safer in that regard. And I think that her connection to Kylan via the cookout should help her, help protect her from his suspicions as well, at least in the short term. So she is in a pretty good spot there. But there are still, again, other people doing other things. This is not a one-player house. Kyland has also positioned himself pretty well here. As a member of the remaining Slaughterhouse group, he is currently still somewhat protected by them, especially because it's still halfway, maybe a quarter way exists in Brent's mind. That protection will likely start to dissipate as the Slaughterhouse gets more and more disintegrated, I guess. But he is now in this King's Queens group, and he is not in a bad place within that group either, because he has Sarah Beth, very loyal to him. He has Xavier, who I think is more loyal to Kyland than to Tiffany.
That's the first time we've said his name in this recap.
Yes.
Outer Wilds is $15.
Right.
It's never dropped in price.
Xavier's still a very
It's not
interesting
dropping in
player
price.
to talk about because he's in a good spot, but he is definitely not a power player right now. And there are a lot of power players in this game. Now, can Xavier become a power player in the future?
Man, there's gotta be tons of machinery
his current position
here.
as a bouncing
but I don't know
board
how much we can actually use.
to like really start to play hard. I'm not sure,
wow.
but he's
Check this
definitely
out.
in a decent
It looks
spot,
brand
especially
new.
with
Hey,
with
be
Big
careful,
D
all right?
and Kyland.
This place is dangerous.
Speaking of, Kyland, as I said, has Xavier.
I'll be
Also kind of has
fine.
Big D right now, but again, can't really fully rely on that. And even Derek X has started to build some relationships. He is developing one with Azza. He has one with Claire that is developing. One with Hannah, who has a bit of a crush on him. Obviously,
I'm told
he has
Goose Game's $10.
a
I
big
feel like that's
relationship with Tiffany. He's also had one with Kyland for a while, so he is not somebody to sleep on either. Also, not
That's
really a power
probably,
player, but he is
the price for
accumulating
me.
enough connections that he could be, if he decided to be, or knew enough
What the
to, right? A lot of things to consider there. You still have Christian and Alyssa, who are turning into a bit of a showmance. If they start winning competitions, they could start becoming a powerhouse, which I imagine is one of the reasons why Tiffany has sort of attached herself to them, because that would still not be terrible for her. Sarah Beth, as I said, is with Kyland, but also has her own connection to Tiffany and Claire. She has her own connection to the Kings. I think she has a lot of potential as a player. She's not as well positioned as Kyland or Tiffany, but I do think that she has a lot of potential there as well. So there's a lot going on here. Even Azza, who is a little bit outside of the structure of the house right now, shouldn't be in danger in the short term. Can't ever say that for sure when you're not protected, but shouldn't be, and that should give her time to integrate into the house a little more if that's something that she's capable of. So I wouldn't even be too concerned about Azza quite yet. And that really, again, leaves a lot of this house open, even though we have some really good players playing really hard.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know.
You know, I think
what to win
between this and the next episode, I'll go ahead and take a look at the sales, and then we'll do one more episode for today, and then we'll call it a day. I think that's probably how we'll go.
Everybody wants to win in the end, and so I'm loving this week. I can't wait to see what the
that's interesting. Thank you for watching.